Hey everybody, NWA Prepper here. I want to talk to you today about a portion of preparedness that I don't talk about very often, but it's really, really important, and it's important to me, and that is you need to be armed. And I don't mean these. Everyone has one or two of those, or most people. Not everyone, I guess. I actually have probably one of the best shooters or best target guys I know has a little finger for an arm, and that the other one there's nothing, and he can outshoot me with his toes any day of the week. That's not what I'm talking about. Or that's not who I'm talking about. You need to be armed. All the time, everywhere you go, with very few exceptions. Everywhere. I don't go to many federal court buildings, and so I don't go to a lot of courthouses. Sometimes I do. So other than that, I can't really think of a time that I'm not armed. And if I'm in a place where I cannot be armed with a firearm, I have other forms of defense available to me. Everywhere. I am not the greatest martial artist in the world. I'm not the most fit person, so the martial arts that I do know aren't going to be as effective as they could be if I was in better shape. I don't believe in a fair fight. If I'm going to fight, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use every tool and every advantage I can. Weapons. I'm going to use every weapon that I can. If you come at me with your fists, I'm going to have a knife or better. If you come at me with a club, I'm going to have a gun. If you come at me with a knife, I'm going to have a gun. If you come at me with a gun, I hope I have a bigger gun with better range and better accuracy and better training. There are very few parts of the country and other countries, some you can still do this, that you can't go get firearms training. Firearms are inexpensive. You can buy a firearm for a couple $100. You don't have to be a Glock snob or a 1911 freak and only carry those firearms. A Taurus or a High Point will do the job just the same. Do I believe some firearms are more reliable than others? I do. I believe some ammunitions are more reliable than others. Any firearm will do. I'm a big prep in steps type of guy. You get what you can afford today, and it lets you prepare better later. I'm not saying to buy a piece of crap. Don't buy a High Point that has not been maintained, that's not been taken care of, that's been thrown around, that's dirty and rusty and rattles. Because that's not a tool, that's a weight. Don't buy a multiplier that is a piece of crap. A $5 multiplier is usually a $5 multiplier or multi-tool. I know not everyone can go out and afford a Kimber 1911, which I am not a 1911 fan, so I don't care if anybody goes and gets a Kimber 1911. Save for a weapon that you can depend on. I like the Generation 2 Tauruses. They've overcome a lot in the last several years, both with their triggers and their my general impression. get something you're comfortable with. Ones that I right away like are, I'm a Glock fan. I like M&Ps. Those are my two favorites. There are lots of variety. Find whatever you want. Get armed and get training. Just in my community, in the town south of me and the town north of me, that touch my community, I can think of 4 people that will offer me basic and advanced firearms training and seem to be competent, skilled individuals. I can think of 2 or 3 more that are absolute goobers, and what they teach is completely taken out of comic books and would get you killed. I mean, that's with anything. There are people that I'm sure think my videos are from comic books and I'm going to get people killed. And that's for you to decide. Get good training. Get basic training. Get comfortable and shoot. Shoot. If you buy 500 rounds of ammo at a store, you better be shooting half of that in training. And then buy 500 more rounds and shoot half of that in training. If you can't or won't get a firearm, there are other options. Get a taser, get a stun gun, get pepper spray, get a knife. All of those things equally require training. Don't buy a weapon and just set it on the shelf and go, okay, I'm ready. I know how to use this. I'll use it when the time is right. If you're going to carry nunchucks, by golly, get out and learn how to use the nunchucks. Straight as day. Straight as day. Listen at me. Plain as day. If you're going to use a knife, learn to use a knife. Go get training from someone proficient in using a knife as a weapon. Chef school is great. If you can slice up a pepper and julienne french fries and cut your pork chop just as thin as it can be, that's awesome. That's not using it as a defensive weapon. Get trained. Whatever weapon you like, again, it doesn't matter if it's you want to learn the bow stick because you have a bow because like a staff because you have a walking stick with you all the time, great. If you use a cane, there are martial arts that can teach you how to use a cane defensively. Everything you have can be a weapon. A baseball cap is a weapon. If that's the defense you're going to rely on, practice with it, train with it, learn to use it. Be armed all the time, everywhere, every day. When you're at home, I'm not saying the toaster is going to turn into a Decepticon, which I read on Facebook. That's not going to happen. But somebody can kick in your door, and if your firearm or your weapon of choice is in the back closet, you're dead, or they have whatever they want from you. Be armed all the time. Let's get ready.